Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Learn With Us.
Wait a second. Something's different. But I can't
I don't know
put
what it
a
could be.
finger on it. We moved.
We did move.
Yes.
And now we are in a different colored room.
Zazing.
That's it.
That's it.
We're going to be, we're still trying to figure out how the lighting's all going to work in here.
We should get some fan help.
Yes.
What do you want back here?
What do you guys want to see on that wall? I think you guys can see that wall.
Yeah.
That back wall, we're trying to make some custom pieces.
Custom artwork.
So if you got ideas...
If you're like, a big piece of Shiva would be perfect. We might do it.
We might just have to do it.
We might just have to do it. Speaking of Shiva.
Hey, good transition.
Thank you. We're finally doing it.
Uh-oh.
We're watching our first, probably of many, Sadhgurus on Shiva. And a lot of people said that this is the first one we have to watch. I don't know why. It is Adiyogi Shiva, the first and ultimate Zen master.
I need to apologize publicly because last time we were talking about Shiva, you were like, why would we need another world teacher if we already had one, the perfect teacher? And I was like, maybe because he's dead. And then everyone in the comments was like,
He's not dead. He's not dead.
I guess no records ever say that he was born, and no records ever say that he died.
I was just watching a Sadhguru on Shiva yesterday, and he was like, at the end, it was just this whole long thing. And then it was like, yes, he might have been able to do all this because he wasn't quite human. No, he was definitely not human. And then he like chuckles, and I was like, oh my God.
Wait a second. So yeah,
that's what we're dealing with. I mean, what are we dealing with?
All right, Sadhguru.
All right.
Tell us about why Shiva is the first and ultimate Zen master.
Please, and thank you.
These questions and these thoughts are coming from a mindset which has grown in organized religions. We are not talking about Shiva versus somebody else. Because that you refer to as Shiva includes all these things that you're talking about.
We just had, this reminded me of something. It just made me think of something. I think what he's starting with here is like, you start talking about someone and then everyone else is like, instantly wants to say their favorite teacher. And it's like, well, why aren't you putting more importance on this teacher? It's like we've had some person just like kind of lighting up our comments saying like, Stop following all these people, just follow Jesus.
Oh.
You know, which was just like very interesting, but it's just, why does there have to be a but there, if you will? You know, why can't there be an and? You know, like, why can't we just look at all of them for what they are? Because I feel like that's what Sadhguru does really well when he talks about teachers. He'll talk about a lot of different teachers, and he'll just kind of objectively say what they did and how they are. He doesn't put a value system. He doesn't tell you to follow any of them. He just says, like, if one was more powerful, he'll just say it. He's not like, this one's more powerful, therefore anything. He doesn't say anything. Yeah. You know?
I do love when Sadhguru talks the way he speaks about others.
Yes.
It's real good.
Real good.
Just one little dimension, this or that, they found out and they started talking about it and they became popular. I'm not trying to belittle them, they're all wonderful human beings who've done great service to humanity. But I'm saying, in terms of perception, there hasn't been another being like him. And perception is all that I value. And that's all you should value. Rest can be made up. Rest is just frills. So you're talking about Zen. What greater master of Zen than Shiva himself? That somebody comes, his own son, he doesn't get the point. You heard of Guiti, the Zen master? Guiti always did this. He'll be talking. People look at it, okay, why is he showing the finger to me? The thing is, he's always trying to say everything is one. This is the teaching. Rest of what I say is not important. This is the teaching.
Dude.
I wanna get in on some of that stuff.
Yeah, if you guys have Zen teachers, I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
That's not what I was talking about.
All right, but I love
Zen.
that.
Yeah, Zen teachers give you a different flavor.
Yeah.
And you have to sit with it.
Yeah.
You have no choice but to make your mind like twist around and then break. But what I was saying was I'd love to get into stuff like portraying things to people in different ways than just verbal. Because that's such a common thing, is like we experience something or we have something that we would love to impart on another person and we say it. But how much more powerful is it if you just get this, you know, say I'm talking to you mid-sentence and then I keep going and you're just like always wondering. And then how hard does that punch when you finally realize it? Like there's the story of Ram Dass coming to Maharaji and being like, oh, why is he fiddling with his hands? It must be a nervous habit. Then all of a sudden realizes that he's just constantly like going through a prayer bead, like Ram, 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 Ram. And then like when you realize
prayer bead isn't there, he's just...
Yeah, prayer bead isn't even there. Just like things like that. Things like that are just... It's as if a teacher is trying to get you from all the angles.
Yeah.
All the angles.
Like that reminds me of like a really good like concept album. Like really good concept albums with music that tell a story.
Yeah.
The music is and the ways that the music transition is telling as much of a story as the words, as much of a story as the different people coming on, you know, the themes, all of that. And that blows me away every time, you know? Also just the fact that he goes, the only thing I care about is perception.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was a little boy, because in these Buddhist monasteries, Zen monasteries, little boys become monks, 4, 5-year-olds.
Whoa.
So the little boy who's growing up in the monastery, he saw Guiti and, you know, the boy takes to him. So this boy is going about. If anybody says anything, so Guiti watched this. He waited for him to become 16. One day he called the boy and he did this. The boy instinctively, because he's been doing it all over the place, he also did this. He took out a knife and chopped off his finger. Man, they say he attained. He suddenly saw the point, that it's not about one, it's about nothing.
Oh.
Shiva went further, a long time ago.
Would you lose a finger if it meant enlightenment? Huh?
I don't know.
Huh?
I mean, yes.
Yeah. I almost lost a finger.
Oh.
I got my hand like this because cut myself.
Zing. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We were in like this little knife fight in a back alley.
I was cutting dates. but almost got enlightened. So you see how close I was to my finger coming off?
Oh, dude,
So
dang
close.
It.
Next time. I was just saying to Eli today how this one like punched pretty well. But a lot of Sadhguru's stories, I don't know if you feel this similarly, he'll tell the whole story and it feels like either I just don't get it or I just don't get it. Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's almost funnier. Like, he'll tell the punchline and like everyone in the audience will be like chuckling, kind of, but like not really laughing, you know, not like belly laughing. And I'll also be like, ha, I don't get it. Like, I just don't get a lot of the stories that he tells, and it's pretty funny. It'll just be like this random side parable that kind of relates to what he was talking about, but it's just like very straightforward. It seems. It's so funny. I don't know if you experienced that.
That is good.
He came back from somewhere. He always carried a trishul. So trishul is a trident. He's always carrying the trident to show people there are 3 dimensions. Yourself, your way of being, what you know and what you do not know. And what you do not know rules, not what you know. So one day he came back after a long break. He's not seen this boy, his son. Now he's 10, 11 years of age. When Shiva came, this boy is carrying a little trident. With that he tries to stop him. He looked at him and took off his head, not his trident.
You think his son was enlightened after that?
Holy.
I mean, we just gotta keep going.
Then whatever drama happened, and then he put in another head, a Ghana's head on top of him, and he became such a brilliant boy. Even today in India, if people want to start education, anything, first thing is they will worship this boy, which that Ghana has become Gaja. A Ghana's head has become, instead of Ganesha, he's become Gajesha now. They kind of modified it and made it into an elephant head. But he became the very embodiment of intelligence and brilliance. They said there was nothing that he did not know. So that's the first act of Zen.
What was that word, Ghana?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
I think baby elephant is what I heard in a different story about this. But correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, let us know what
so,
a Gada is. How do you spell it? How do you say it?
Yeah. He's also referring to the human body, elephant head. I guess that represents knowledge, wisdom.
Yeah.
Because this kid maybe did get enlightened. We chopped off his head and replaced it
with an elephant.
With an elephant. What?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
So anything that you can talk of the world, talk in the world, nothing is left out of his life. He's so complex and so complete. And he did not have a teaching, he only had methods, that's the most important thing. Others have teachings. How many fingers can you cut? A method like this, can you employ? Can you go about employing this Goethe's method of cutting a finger? One boy's finger you caught and you got it. If you cut many fingers, you'll only have crippled people. Nothing would have happened. So, there is no teaching from Shiva, only methods. And the methods are 100% scientific in nature. He gave 108 ways and added another 6 and said 112 ways. 112 ways because there are 114 chakras in the body, 2 of them reside outside the physical body. He said, that realm is only for those who are beyond. For human beings, there are only 112 ways. And he showed clear methods as to how you can exploit these 112 dimensions of how this life is made. And each one, how you can… through each one of them you can realize. It's a beautiful story.
That's a lot of ways.
It's a lot of options.
Wouldn't you say?
That is one of the most fascinating things to me recently has been feeling into my body and trying to feel like different organs or that type of thing. I have not been successful. Every time I do it, it blows my mind how much it just feels like one thing. Even though I know there's all these different pieces.
Yeah.
You know, but they're all so perfectly synchronized. Like we always talk about when you injure something, you know, it's like your muscle gets strained or your tendon or like these single parts. But the thing that matters is that it all somehow functions together.
It's crazy.
And then having perception at this level probably means that you're understanding like those things that are making it all work together and how to really understand those. It's like,
yeah, we've both been also fascinated that it's often called a science.
Yes.
Or say inner engineering. That is so interesting. Technology. For me, the science part really hits because science is like this process of observation, experimentation, findings. And that's exactly what a lot of this process feels like to me. And I imagine it's like Shiva is just the fully realized version of that process. Because that's what it is. It's like you observe the things around you more and more clearly. You keep experimenting with yourself, see where you can go inside of you, how deep, and it just like keeps going deeper and deeper. And then you find things and they help you. And so I feel like if you just did that your whole life, you'd have a good amount of methods, a lot of tools in the toolkit, like we like to say.
Yeah.
When he was expounding the mechanics of life with the 7 sages, he had one witness.
Hey, I'm Stevie Mackey. I'm a vocal coach for some of the world's biggest artists, and welcome to my monthly.
And that witness is not like Ananda Tirtha, she's Parvati. She's already realized. He taught her, or he made her realize in a very intimate manner. But when the 7 sages sat, he went into a completely different dimension of exploration. So it was interesting for her. Something that happened to her so simply is such a complex process. So as he went about expounding different dimensions, he said, there are 112 ways in which a human being can attain. She being a woman, she being realized, and above all, she being the wife. She said, why only 112? There must be more ways. He was looking at the mechanics of life, exploring things. He's not giving a teaching, he's not giving a philosophy. As he was exploring, he saw this as a disturbance. He waved it aside. There are only 112. Because you are going through something and somebody makes a comment, which is a personal comment, a whimsical comment. There are only 112.
I think what he's getting at here, Sadhguru, is that Shiva is making these teachings, not, it already got me, these methods to become realized. And I imagine him saying them or coming up with the methods in a way that just simply is not up for question or debate. I feel like that there are certain things in my life that I've realized that are not up for question. Like if I were to say them to someone and they were to respond with like, but, like instantly I would just be like, we're not going to, like, it's not a conversation. It like kind of sounds rude to say that, but it's very true. There are a few things where like if I were to say something to someone, there is no back and forth. It's like literally like this is, I don't know how, but it's like just the truth. Yeah. So I imagine if you've got a channel of that, then there's like really no questioning that can happen to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where the story's going. I'm just here for it.
She says, I will find more. He said, you go and find. Then she went. She's already realized she's trying to explore different ways to find it. After, they say, many years of sadhana, she came back. He was still talking to the Saptarishis or the 7 sages. She being his wife, she can come and sit beside him. But she came and sat 1 step below. She did not want the sages to know, but she wanted him to know that she's failed. She just came and sat 1 step below to indicate that whatever challenge she threw, she's failed. So she did not want others to know, but she wanted him to know. So there are 112 different ways. What Shiva is talking is mechanics of life, no philosophy, no teaching, no social relevance, simply science. Social relevance we add just to make it rounding it off, otherwise it's too scientific. From this science, individual masters make technology out of it. He did not give technology, he just gave the science of it. The technologies that you are enjoying today, either in the form of a smartphone or a computer or some other gadget that you're using, there is a science behind it. That science is not relevant to you. You are only using the technology. But if somebody had not grasped the science, you would not have the technology.
So is Sadhguru saying he's kind of the interpreter, or like a figure like him is able to understand the science and then give you methods?
Sadhguru?
Yeah. Like he's almost like a middleman.
A middleman, yeah.
Because Shiva was just laying out like… That'd be interesting to see. I don't know like what that even is.
Yeah, what he's referring to.
Yeah, like what is the science laid out by Shiva?
Yeah.
Not obviously, that's probably a very ignorant question because it's probably like, you know, things that you need such a high level of perception to like step into potentially.
Well, I feel like it's just something that our subscribers probably know and would be sweet to just get some of your knowledge from the large knowledge base of our subscribers. Because we ask a question, you know it. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, this makes me, I've been like having this deepening understanding of karma without really doing a lot about it. Like I'd love to read Sadhguru's book, but I'm not doing that right now. And that's what comes to mind for me when he's talking about this science that isn't social. Like it has nothing to do with the personal or larger human karma going on. It's like transcends that.
What does?
Like the teachings.
Oh,
The teachings have
okay.
nothing to do with the day-to-day.
You mean
like,
the teachings of Shiva?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like timeless. And so Sadhguru, I guess, and people like him might be bringing those down and saying, like, injecting them into how it might relate to your life. Like a timeless teaching, how it relates to your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm imagining like what the blueprints of like a human system looks like when it's understood at that level.
Mm-hmm.
And then almost it's like, well, since a human system is functioning in so many dimensions, how the hell do you teach that without first being able to like somehow bring it into language, somehow make it relevant to the time?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's definitely interesting to me how with all of these teachings, even something as simple as like the idea of presence, you know, you can say that word as much as you want, and you can like feel like you're getting closer and closer to presence. But it's only as you get closer and as you explore something new that the word even has true meaning, you know?
Yes.
It's
it's like almost only through experience.
And then you think about how often we're trying to describe an experience through words. Because you know, it's like we're trying to put an experience into each other.
Right.
But there's a filter between it every time.
Yeah.
And then it's like, just really interesting
Then where are you left? Yeah.
to think about how you actually need to absorb these things and
I think that Sadhguru and a lot of teachers find this as a barrier. Like that is a probably a really tough thing. Like Sadhguru is saying, yes, I've heard him say this. He's like, yes, I am making videos, but that can only work on 2 dimensions of your life, your emotions and your mental. But your energetic body and your physical body, those cannot be affected by just watching a video alone. So like what he's doing is he's giving you methods. He's saying, go to the Isha Center, experience this yourself, be physically there, do the physical practices. And so that's trying to bridge that gap, but you know, it's not seamless because we're trying to do this online.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Yeah.
The algorithms that go into the making of a simple software is very complex. Sometimes you got your email in a coded form. Did you see? You can't figure out, is this what I typed? It is all kinds of gibberish. But for somebody else it makes sense. Because of that, it is going. Now, here we are just using sound waves. If I speak, these amplifiers are just amplifying the sound that I create, and it's traveling as sound waves. But suppose I spoke to you on a phone, then what I speak is not going as sound waves, it's becoming electromagnetic waves, going there and reconverting themselves. So when it's traveling from here, you speak on a cell phone, it's traveling from here to Bangalore, it is not going as sound waves, it's become something else. If you hear that, if you can, or if you feel that, it would be something totally different. But some other instrument once again converts it into sound waves the way you can understand. So what Shiva said is simply pure science. He's not talking technology. He left it to the Saptarishis to make the technology as it would suit the people who would sit in front of him on that day. Depending upon what kind of gadget we need, we produce that, but the fundamental science is the same thing, isn't it? Nothing has changed about that.
That kind of comes full circle to the story of cutting off the finger.
Yeah?
And how so many of like, especially in Zen, it will often be like a story between a disciple and a master, and then the thing that like flicks the switch to becoming enlightened.
Yeah.
And how there is such a unique tool for that person. And the master needs to understand this.
Yeah.
And the person in front of them.
Yeah.
And then be like, this is the thing that's going to do it for them.
That
Bang.
is incredible, which is just the power of being able to physically be with a master and have them be working on you. That's like the power of a guru, of a master, Zen master, which, of course, a lot of us, or maybe all of us, just don't have access to, on a consistent basis. So I feel like we just have to find other ways, get things like Sadhguru and just try and put all those pieces together without him being there for you,
We watched that reaction of John Butler the other day.
Yeah.
And afterwards I had this feeling of like, because he's just a pastor at a church. And that
it's so hot in here. I'm just armpit hole.
Just air it out.
Just had to let that one go. All right, keep going.
He's just a pastor at a church.
Yeah.
And I was like, imagine if you grew up with the pastor at your church being a being that is perceiving at that level. Oh my
gosh.
And it's like, how is that not the number one priority of people,
every society,
every community on this planet? Like,
because it's not,
let's find the wisest people.
It's not hard to
give
find
everyone else the most access to that.
Yeah, because the first thing that people ask is like, well, how is you find objectively who the wisest people are? And there's just something about it. There's just something about the realized being. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. How does John Butler, Sadhguru, and Osho, for example, how do they all fit into the same category? Because they're so different, but you watch them speak and you say, yeah, they're there. You see it. And it's like you just kind of, it's a feeling. It's like an intuition that we all have, where you see someone moving differently through life and you are very attracted to it. Imagine meeting like a fully realized being face to face.
I can't. But hopefully someday.
Because, some of the most impactful moments of my life were meeting people that were clearly on a different energetic level. I didn't realize it at the time, but those memories are perfect in my mind. Like, I remember them so well. And now getting into this spiritual work, I know that it's because they were on a higher level. There was something else going on with them. Different energy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Have you ever met an enlightened being?
Oh, yeah.
What the heck was that like?
Oh,
if you feel like sharing. Oh, yeah. Eli's on his oh, yeah game right now.
So, I'm talking about Shiva all the time because it is the science. The tech is not important. It's the science which is important. Tech can be made up. Technology is a made-up thing. Because there is a fundamental science, using that we're making something out of it. Gadgets that are relevant today may be irrelevant tomorrow. Already it's happened, isn't it? So many things. So many gadgets that we thought were very valuable, no more valuable because new gadgets have come, but the same science. So what kind of gadgets we produce simply depends upon who is sitting in front of you right now, what is the need of the hour. So in this context, there is a very, very, very big difference between what you refer to as the Adiyogi and all the other names that you're mentioning. They are all technology people. They grasped one aspect of it and they made a certain technology for people who were sitting in front of them at that moment.
Is he saying that, for those of you who know the history better, that all of these traditions came from Adiyogi, came from Shiva?
Whoa.
Like, did he bring the science that then became Buddhism, all of it?
Wow.
I don't know. But then what? Oh my! Because I always had the perception that it was like all these different people kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
From experimenting
on their own.
Yeah, which of course was still a part, even if you have a Shiva that brought the science. You know, you still need to get to the point where you can perceive science.
But then. You hear about Sadhguru talking about his relationship with Shiva. And he says that there is no choice. There has never been a choice for him. Shiva literally took him. And he is now like a slave of Shiva.
I haven't heard him say that.
Yeah. I have heard him say that.
Holy sh!
And it's literally
Holy
like
Shiva.
Like it was, yeah, that's the craziest thing. He's talking about how it's just like this was never a thing that he went out and chose. It chose him. Power of the universe.
Makes me think about this guy, medical medium.
Yeah.
He's like a health guru type thing. He's just the middleman again.
Yeah.
But Mitch's mom is super into, if you're here, we love you, is super into this guy, and I was talking to her this weekend because I had never heard his like origin story.
Yeah.
And she shared that when he was 4, he was at dinner with his family, and then starting earlier that day or a few weeks before it, he started to see this man. This man would just be there, and as a kid, he was like kind of freaked out at first, but then just went with it because he thought everyone could see this person.
Wow.
And then at a dinner table with his whole family, the man points to his grandmother and says, "Go to your grandmother, put your hand on her chest, and tell her that she has lung cancer." And then this 4-year-old kid at first is like, no, and then eventually does it.
Oh my god.
And then a week later, she like goes gets scans and has cancer. But apparently right after that moment, in his memory, this like spirit, whatever it was, walked up a staircase, disappeared, and since then has only been words in his head and a voice that speaks to him. And it makes you think about how I've heard similar stories about like Don Juan with shamans, and like that yeah, they're somehow chosen.
Yes. Feels like chosen.
Yeah.
Sometimes this like I feel like this can happen on minor versions too, because sometimes I'll be on this little ego trip where I'll be saying to myself, like, oh, I could be doing this another way, but I'm choosing to do it this way. And it's something that I'm like proud of, whatever. And I'll reflect, and instantly, every single time, the ego trip is over, because I realized that there was no other way I could have done it, and I don't know how to explain it, but there was just, it just doesn't really feel like I've ever had a choice. It's like I'm just stumbling along, feeling like I'm getting really lucky.
we got some stories to share about those things someday.
Holy smokes.
But for now, let's continue.
Just wait.
It worked for the people, so that's all that matters at that moment. But we are looking at Adiyogi as the fundamental science. It's important at a time like this. At a time like this, when humanity is in the kind of state that it is for various reasons, it's important, the essential science of it is strengthened.
The essential science of it is strengthened.
That was confusing last
sentence. Does that mean more people understand it? So it can spread more?
I was pretty confused when he said that. I don't know.
That's what I was taking, was like, we need more people to understand how this works and be able to give it to more people. Because clearly, we've taken some wrong turns.
Have we now? I thought that was pretty cool, though, how he was like, and humanity is where it's at for various reasons.
Yeah.
I think that's an incredible level of perception to not put a judgment on where humanity's at. Because who are we putting a judgment on?
The Republicans.
The Republicans. I mean,
the Democrats.
Everybody does that without thinking about it, but Sadhguru's just like, we're here.
Various reasons.
Nice to meet you. We're here. Now where do we go?
That video was a slow build for me.
Very slow build. And I think if you tune in to the next episode, I think things are going to get a little loopy. Because I'm getting really hot. And I've got Shiva on the brain now. More than the brain. I mean, let's just face facts.
Shiva's on 112 out of 114 nadis. And that's what happens.
Yeah. We're...
All right, folks.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think about the new room, what you want on the walls.
Yeah.
And
do you have any Shiva videos that, like, punch? Yeah. Punch. Like, whoa. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause that was a slow build. But I liked it.
it.
It was good information. I'm ready. My favorite part about this is that we're all going to be talking about Shiva in the comments now.
Let's discuss.
We're just going to learn a lot.
Also, we've been, like, the comment game has been so flame.
Yeah!
It's
been like that.
Just good.
The comments have been so tasty, especially when you all comment on other people's comments.
Because then you guys are, like, giving this knowledge to each other or debating the knowledge, and then we get to just see, like, okay, this is where it went, this is what they went through, like...
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
It's like listening to when Sadhguru talks with, like, a crazy smart scientist.
Yeah.
It's like these different angles being taken on the same thing, and then you get this better understanding.
Whew.
What we're saying is that you are either an enlightened being or a very smart scientist.
Or you have an elephant head.
All because you're our subscriber.
Dun. All right.
Perfect sign off. All right, folks.
Much love.
Much love.